Today's cardinal lesson is to understand the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA. And the big difference is one is tax-free, the other one is tax-deferred. And that's a huge difference, especially when it comes to retirement. So we're going to talk about a tax-free Roth and a tax-deferred IRA. And again, it's one or the other. I mean, it's just, so your IRA or your 401k is either a Roth or it's a traditional. And in the case of a 401k, it actually can be both, but it has segregated accounts because one of them, you've already paid the tax on the money, and the other one, you've not paid the tax yet, and the tax bill's coming. So with a Roth IRA / 401k, after-tax money going in, so this is what the catch is that if you for instance, if you were putting, I had a doctor in here as a client this morning coming in. He's putting $1,500 a month into his 401k, $18,000 a year. And that $1,500 a month is in the traditional side, and that comes right off the top of his paycheck, or in other words, he's not paying any taxes on that $1,500 yet. It's tax deferred. So, and I'm betting that by tonight, he's going to have changed his contribution because he's working 2 more years. And he might work longer than that. And so I sat there and did the calculation. If you change to a Roth 401k election for your contributions, and you start putting that $1,500 a month in the Roth, in 2 years, you're going to have at least $36,000 in there, plus some earnings. And that's going to be tax-free money that's over in an account. We can roll it over to an IRA if you'd like once you retire. And that's going to be a source of money for you to go get where you don't have to pay any taxes. And that's very important in retirement. It isn't necessary to have all your money on the Roth side, but the ability to draw out money tax-free is huge. And this is kind of stating the obvious, but the difference that it makes is this particular guy that I was talking to has almost $1 million in his traditional IRA, okay? And he has to live off of that for he and his wife for the rest of his life. And that is really the biggest part of his assets, financial assets, is that 401k. And he doesn't have a lot of savings outside of the IRA. And I just pointed something out to him that when you retire and you're just going along, and we're going to put together this income and tax plan where you're going to be part Social Security income, which is going to be pretty nice for him, and then withdrawals from your traditional IRA from the $1 million. We'll put those two things together. We're going to come up with a monthly income, and you're going to pay some tax on the monthly income, and then you're going to pay some tax on the Social Security, but it's not going to be anything like you paid before retirement, because Social Security income is taxed by the amount of your other income. So what it amounts to is he's going to be paying lower taxes in retirement, which means he needs to draw out less. And where a problem develops, because he doesn't have a big, huge savings account somewhere, is all of a sudden he's marching along and say he's 70 years old and he needs $50,000 for something, to buy something or to pay something or to help one of his kids through a crisis. I mean, just who knows what could come up that he would want to do that. And then once a client has made up their mind to buy something, a lot of times we're sitting here and saying, whoa, wait a minute. And the only place that he has to go is to tap that traditional IRA or 401k, he's going to throw our income plan and our tax plan just completely. If you have a $50,000 withdrawal, just on top of his income and his Social Security, it's going to send his Social Security tax, it's going to send his Medicare tax, and it's going to send just his overall tax bill into oblivion. He also needs to withdraw enough money to pay the taxes on the 50 grand. It's just a problem, and it can be solved with a Roth IRA, and it can also be solved with just a non-qualified savings account or investment account where he's already paid taxes on the money, where he just has savings that he can go get in an emergency or a crisis or for something special. But a Roth IRA serves that purpose greatly. And my guess is he's already made those changes to his contributions, and if he works 3 or 4 more years, which he might do, he could have $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 built up in just that Roth section without paying any additional taxes. Now, the one negative that he's going to find is his paycheck's going to get a little bit smaller, because when they take out that $1,500 a month, they're going to be doing that after taxes instead of before taxes. So, you know, tax-free is more painful on the front end because you're putting in your after-tax money, and on the traditional IRA 401k, which is where most money of most people is, it's less painful because it's almost like you're depositing the government's money, your tax money, and you're getting to build off of that for years. It's a wonderful concept, but it starts to suck at retirement when you all of a sudden wake up and most of your financial assets, it's like they have a lien on them because taxes are due. And if you're successful of just squirreling it, doing minimum distributions, then you're creating a problem for your children or your heirs where they're going to receive it and they're going to have a big tax bill on it. So not necessarily a bad problem to have, but the Roth IRA is a solution for that. So a couple of points I want to leave you with. Number one is if you're still working and contributing to a 401k, check with your 401k provider and see if they have a Roth option and consider putting your contributions in there as a Roth. I just did this for my 23, soon to be 23-year-old son who's just starting his first job at a very good salary. He's going 100% Roth, and I just think that 40 years from now he's going to have this gigantic tax-free savings account, which is really kind of cool. So if you're young, which most of our listeners are not, or you're talking to your children, that's a smart move. For yourself, there's a thing called Roth Conversions. Now, we can't convert money inside of a 401k, but if you're in your 50s, 60s, you're in a point where a retirement is near, many of these 401ks will allow you to do an in-service rollover to take some of the money, even year by year, roll it into an IRA, which you still don't pay taxes, and then convert that IRA to a Roth. We can help you with that. And then you got to pay the taxes, which again is painful, but there's a way you can do that with your existing IRA, little piece by piece and year by year, which is pretty smart. Then there's this thing called the backdoor Roth, and I'm not going to attempt to outline all of that, but there's a way that if you're over the income limits on the IRA thing, and you still want to make a contribution to a Roth, there's a way to do it. And it just involves making a non-deductible traditional IRA contribution, which you can do over the income limits. And then once the money is in the IRA, then we can convert the whole IRA to a Roth. And voila, we've got a Roth IRA. We never got a tax deduction for it, but you get tax deduction for them anyhow. And now the money's in Roth. There won't be any minimum distributions or any more taxes on money taken out of that account. So I'm Hans Scheil, and I thank you for listening.